Corn prices aren't the only thing at an all-time high. The Fed cattle market is also reaching record levels. We have more in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch.
And joining us in the studio is Mike Miller, Chief Operating Officer with CattleFax. Mike, thanks for coming back to the show.
Thank you.
You know, we've seen incredible volatility these first several months of 2011 in both the grain and the cattle markets. Do you anticipate this to continue, or are we going to see a leveling off here?
Well, we're more than likely to see a continuation of what we've witnessed here in the first couple of months of the year. You know, we've kind of set this thing up, framed it up with supply and demand issues in the cattle and grain markets, and then added to that all of this strife in the Middle East, which has really generated a lot of interest in the speculative nature of the oil and energy markets, and that's just kind of bled over to lead to incredible volatility across the board in grains, in cattle, hogs, just about everything that we can name. So, you know, we still have those underlying fundamentals that are impacting our industry in a lot of different ways. Those are going to be there regardless, but then we've got this added extra component that nobody quite knows what to do with right now. So I would expect that we're going to have a pretty wild ride in 2011.
A little bit of a roller coaster, it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
You know, recently fat cattle have hit some all-time highs, I mean historic highs.
Yes.
And what is your anticipation about the future there? Will the good times continue for cattle feeders?
Well, you know, it's surely set up fundamentally to be a heck of a good year from a price standpoint. You know, we're already well above what we thought we'd reach this year for the highs. Again, kind of helped with all this external contributions by all this speculative nature going on in all these different markets. But again, fundamentally, we're very, very sound. So, you know, I think that from a pricing standpoint, we can expect 2011 to be the best we've ever seen. We've already set all-time highs for just about every class of cattle out there. And shoot, we're only 3 months into the year. So, you know, I guess right now for cow-calf producers, what we'd be hopeful for is that we get into this fall when everybody's going to be marketing those calves, and we're still enjoying the kind of price levels that we see right now. But right now, the crystal ball looks pretty good. You know, things look pretty positive for the remainder of the year.
Well, a lot of times people equate high prices with, you know, obvious profitability. But do you anticipate profitability for all sectors in the cattle industry over the next year?
You know, we should get along pretty well, Kevin. You know, I guess it's kind of for the cattle feeder, maybe a tale of two halves. You know, we're going to get along pretty good here in the first half of the year, given the run-up in prices. You look to the second half of the year, break-evens are going to be extremely high. We've got a lot of uncertainty out there, a lot of cost things that we still have to kind of work through. So, awful lot of risk for the cattle feeder. We would expect them to be kind of moderately profitable this year. Stocker operators, awfully good winter conditions in a lot of places, at least from a pricing standpoint. You know, it's been dry, but generally speaking, those guys should get along pretty good for the cattle that they bought last fall, and then they're going to be marketing this spring. Cow-calf producer, again, from a price standpoint, looks wonderful. The thing that we're most concerned with there is that we've got these escalating costs, and they are from fertilizer to oil to gas to grain, everything under the boat. And so that's really the kind of thing that we've got to watch for right now. But by and large, it should be a pretty good year for everybody.
Well, it will be an interesting one for sure. Thank you so much for coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
For more information and expert analysis, visit CattleFax.com.